I have the pleasure of bringing up our next keynote speaker. Keynote speaking on keynote speaking. And I want to introduce you guys to Jeff Gamboa. I don't even think he really needs much of an introduction at this point in the meeting. But what I'll tell you is that Jeff Gamboa is, like I said, one of the greats in our company. He started off the company in 1997. #1 All-American Scholarship winner, #1 rep in all of vector marketing, was one of the youngest promoted division managers in the company in his time up in the Northeast. And in 2009, moved down to South Florida and took what was one of the worst really regions of the company and has since forth taken it to not one, but two prolific divisions in the South Florida hubs. And we're really excited and blessed to have the opportunity to work with Jeff. He knows a thing or two about selling Cutco. And I'm also really excited that he's able to give you guys a taste of what I would consider as one of his fortes. Every single year we have something called our SLC, Strategic Leadership Conference, which is one of the biggest events that our company puts on. And it's always it's a big deal to be invited as a speaker to that event or to that meeting for our company. Jeff Gamboa is every single year, he is the golden wrap-up speaker. When we talk about things like vector trained, a lot of these things have been coined in some Jeff's messages. So he knows really quite a thing or two, no matter what type of audience he's speaking to, no matter if it's in person, Zoom, 1,000 people, 5 people, at University of Miami, at his church, at a conference. Doesn't matter what it is. Jeff's an expert. And I think that you guys are going to be able to take a lot of value here away from this message today. So get your pen and paper ready, your laptop, your notes, your clickers, whatever you need. And I'll turn things over to our division manager of the Florida Caribbean Division, Jeff Gamboa.
Thank you, kind sir. Thanks for the claps, a couple of you. Hey, before we start, one of the things I want to say, when Inge introduced me, he said, I am the expert. I don't know that I'm the expert, but I'm pretty damn good at public speaking. But I don't know that I'm pretty damn good because of anything other than I continued to educate myself by learning from someone the way you're learning from a Mike Abramowitz today. Does that make sense, everybody? Like anyone that you're seeing, Andrew Evans, who's running a division before 30 years of age, Mike Abramowitz, who's the #1 manager. I mean, I'll give you example of example. I just want you to know that we just continue to stay in this environment of personal and professional development. And I hope the longer you can stay, that you're getting more and more from this great opportunity called Cutco Through College. Cool. So can I get a thumbs up real quick? Ready to roll? Bring some energy. And I need your energy. I need your attention. I need you to do a little shimmy in your whatever makeshift weirdo type of setup you have, because a lot of you have a really makeshift weirdo setup. I need you to finish that phone call and PDI you're taking. I need you to get your darn videos up. And some of you are still shaking. It's a little awkward, but I like it. I like it a lot. Everyone, public speaking. Do you know, and raise your hand if you've heard, that the #1 fear of human beings is public speaking? Raise your hand if you've heard that before. Like the #1 fear. A lot of you, right? This is going to blow your mind, but that's actually not true. Right? And I'll give you the short version. It is often said the #1 fear, it's public speaking. The #1 fear of humans, it's public speaking. The long story short is that there was a study done probably over 7 decades ago, and all of the data was false. And somehow it got out there. As you know, with social media, how that can happen, right? False narratives or, fake anything. Fake festivals, #Fire Festival, right? I just want you to know that that is not true. But because someone put it out there, because they got spoken about over and over and over again, people said, oh my gosh, well, I guess I better be afraid of public speaking because it's the #1 fear of human beings. It's not even true. It's the same story of that University of Florida rep that was low in confidence, went 0 for 7, and then mom lied to her, told her aunt was going to buy a complete just to give her confidence. She did the presentation, she sold the complete and said, Auntie, thank you so much. I knew you would just give me a hard time for practice, but it really helped me out. And she said, what the hell are you talking about? I didn't even want to see this damn presentation. What? It's all in our mind. So if you are already afraid of public speaking before you have even spoken, shame on you, right? Actions speak, as you know, ... So I'm here today to talk to you about public speaking. one of my favorite topics, and here's why. When you think of public speaking, I think of multiple arenas where everyone in this Zoom, whether you're a branch manager, assistant, or district manager, I think Andrew Evans and I as division managers, I think of representatives who are in a forum and a type of nature where you'll have to speak publicly, and I think of how you make money here, speaking to customers, because we are, in a virtual sense, in public, okay? So for your notes, if you are a MacBook user, I want you to push Shift Command 5. Shift Command 5. You'll notice a screen pops up. You can actually adjust the screen so it fits my keynote. So every time you see a slide moving on that you really like, you don't have to scramble. You don't have to do that ghetto where you pull your phone out and take a picture like that. And right now I see it all over the group chats. You can professionally take slides from presentations by setting up your Zoom the way you want it to capture. Or you can do a Shift Command 4, which is where you control the box and you do it on the spot. Either way, start getting used to taking slides. Also, all of these will be available for you afterwards, okay? So don't get caught up in the words, get caught up in the music. This is a light bulb heavy message. Cool, can I get a thumbs up? Ready to roll? Did I just blow anyone's mind with Shift Command 5, by the way? Is anyone? Yeah, you like that? You're welcome, you're welcome. All right, so I want to talk to you about a couple of things when I think about whether it's a Cutco presentation, whether it's a school presentation, whether it's defending your thesis for your PhD, whether it's in front of your colleagues. Public speaking is such an amazing tool that when we get better at, my gosh, it really moves the career. My wife, as many of you know, is a pediatric gastroenterologist, and as a physician, once a month, she has what's called grand rounds. So she'll have to get up in front of the entire hospital administration and present. And it's funny because I went through some of these tips with her, and she said, could you please, maybe give me the talk that I hear you give to the kids, right? I said, are we role playing? Okay, that's kind of cool. All right, you want to act like all right, it's cool. So we role played and we practiced and we did word for word what I'm going to teach you. And she said, you know what? I just wish more people, word for word, I wish more people knew that what you're teaching the students in Cutco is not a Cutco thing. It's a real life thing. Needless to say, she rocked that appointment, and I was handsomely rewarded for being a great husband. You can leave it to yourself. Preparing the message, structure, intro, body, closing, delivery, don'ts, and the miscellaneous. But the hashtag 2020 is going to come into play because I'm going to come out later and give you some Zoom-friendly tips. Okay, so what's different about this message? So if you're a district or branch or assistant, you've heard this before, this is the same message but rebooted at the end, okay? So let's start off with preparing your message. Preparing your message. I think it's really important, especially in the world that we live in the Cutco world that we live in, that we're working in, that you understand the different types of messages. So as you're taking notes, number one, there's an instructional message. It's a how to sell a complete set, getting more recommendations. Okay, so instruction. Number two is promotional. Promotional, like win a trip to Cancun, get to the next event. The biggest, baddest, most explosive, most exciting conference of the year, the Super Bowl, summer conference too. That's a promotional message. Promote people to come or to experience. And then the third would be inspirational. How do you get people to leave with a plan of action or to leave with a different perspective? Okay. So here's what's really cool. No matter what part of the business you're in and what level, you'll be able to use all of these because at some point you may have to inspire someone as an assistant manager or branch. Okay. At some point, if you're an assistant manager this fall, many of you are applying right now, you may have to give a message or run a workshop. That's an instructional message. Okay. Like a how-to. And then of course, the third one of my favorites is promotion, getting people pumped. And are we not the masters of the business world, everybody here at Vector, of getting people pumped? For crying out loud, you're pumped about an ice cream scoop, right? I watch Luke every week. This is incredible. And I watch you fools. The first time you go, damn, that scoop though. Oh my God. And we just got you pumped and we're not even next to you. We don't give you an ice cream scoop to hold. Through virtual, you're able to get excited. We get you so excited that you dump your entire cell phone contacts to try to go on a trip to Cancun. Right? That's the power of promotion. Is that a light bulb for some of you? Just how important public speaking can be. And ready, I'm not even talking about your Cutco appointments yet. Number two is appropriate style. Here's one thing I do know with style. I think you have to know your audience. So number two and number three go hand in hand. Appropriate style and research your audience. Okay. So when I say style, I think Are you pumped up? Like me doing claps, snaps, and daps for the PTA moms probably doesn't work, right? Let alone the gangster dap, if you will. Hey moms, let's do some claps and snaps and gangster daps. What the hell is he talking about? That is not an appropriate style for ... the audience I've researched. You guys see that? I give messages, just like Mike, I have opportunities to give messages. And if I'm speaking to my church parish, that is going to be a different style than I'm going to do Summer Conference 3 here, which is a different style than if I'm speaking for the whole company and I'm not as comfortable with, because Florida Coast, it's like the brother-sister division, Caribbean and Coast. So you guys are like, my kid's the same as Andrew's looks at our people in Florida Caribbean. So there's a comfortable level. So I would do research. If you're going to speak in front of your classroom, know who's in the classroom. What's the level of the people? Know your audience with the customers. If you're going to be speaking to a customer, did you do research on what they're into, what they like? So what's the appropriate style? Is it laid back? Is it more professional and presidential? When I speak at SLC, I bring humor and I bring Jeff Gamboa humor, but I bring Jeff Gamboa humor, ... knowing that I don't know every single person the same way, right? If I was to present something professional to physicians or doctors, you have to be aware. So doing your research, knowing your audience, okay? Know your audience. If you're giving a workshop for people that are brand new, don't teach them how to sell a kitchen or try to. And I've seen that, right? Over teaching. Let me just tell them everything I know. The challenge is everything you know might not be absorbed from everything they know, okay? So a big thing I would write down is meet people where they're at. As you're speaking, instruction, promotion, you ever try to get someone who doesn't do Cutco really hyped about Cutco, and you got to try to get them hyped the way you would talk to someone who does Cutco, and they look at you like you're crazy? Because we didn't meet them where they're at. But then once they start working with Cutco, they're all about it. It's the same thing. So appropriate style, research and know your audience. Working the crowd. Now this might, let me tell you, in a live setting and then in a virtual setting. If this were a live conference, Andrew, it's funny, we'd probably be near Fort Lauderdale Beach right now. That's where we would hold this conference. And if this were a live conference, during the break, I would have gone around the entire room, talking to people, chatting, high-fiving, joking. I'd catch up and say, is it Kat? Hey, Kat from Tampa, how are you? And I actually know you. Hi, Kat. Good. Hey, great. Hey, I'm about to speak next. Hey, can you give me some love? Give me some, hype me up, okay? And I'll work that little bit of the crowd. And I'll go over to Leah in Clearwater. Hey, Leah, what's going on? Yeah. Hey, I'm going to do public speaking. You into public speaking? Okay. I could use some energy. Can I look at you and then just kind of nod your head and get me going? Okay, cool. And ready? The more people I can do that with, guess what? If I can talk to 15 to 20 to 30 people before I start, I got 15 to 20 people scattered around the whole room, nodding their head. And we call those point people. Point people. Point people are when I feel like I'm losing the crowd or I just need energy, I'm going to transplant little Jeff Gamboa, excited people all across the room. That's working the crowd. Okay. Working the crowd is if I'm speaking at a PTA conference with moms, get to know the moms. Okay. So, who's your daughter? Oh, I love Johnny, right? Oh yeah. He just lost a tooth. I'm going to remember that story because later I might say, and in many cases, moms, life is tough. Mrs. Jenkins, like Johnny's tooth, right? Exactly. Like I'm going to bring things from working the crowd into my message. Why? Because it connects people. Do you notice that every time we start on the Zoom, I'll pick on call people like I just did with Kat and just did with Leah. And I'll talk about Jordan, the dancing queen. And I'll say Sammy B from the pilot. And I'll pick on the same people. Why? Because there's familiarity and I'm working the crowd through Zoom. Is that a light bulb for some of you? I don't do that just because I'm trying to be fun, although it is fun. Okay. There are certain people that become your point people. So whether it's virtual, okay, whether it's a presentation for a class, for some type of organization or live, working the crowd beforehand can really get people on your side. Those of you that have experienced public speaking at a high level, I think of Mike, I think of Andrew, I think of Ray in Fort Myers or CSP, a lot of professional speakers here, practically professional. And you think about what happens as a speaker when the crowd is already into you before you even said anything good. Right? You ever notice that? That's what working in the crowd can do. And so much of where we have a great delivery has nothing to do with the content. It's our confidence. Does that make sense? So if we're coming up and everyone's already engaged, if all the moms are laughing, I'm good with the moms, right? As a Cutco rep, right? If all the people, the church parish, we do a young couples community where Heidi and I are the oldest, or I'm sorry, I am the oldest. of a whole bunch of young married couples, and I get up and speak, and I've already worked the crowd, and they're already smiling and laughing because I've already joked around with them before we started, right? That's the power of working the crowd. Last two things for preparing your message. Make sure you rehearse. And I think it's really important, and it's going to tie into my points later of how you actually write out the message, but rehearsal is really important. So if I were, for example, in a live conference, rehearsal, thinking about it, and the last one, know your stage, are both one and the same. So if I'm speaking on stage, I think Andrew had mentioned the national conference that I speak at. And Andrew, you might not even know this, but every day for 2 to 3 days in a row, I go to the stage. I go when everyone's at lunch. I go 5 a.m. in the morning when the tech guy that I end up giving a tip to will meet me at 5 a.m. to open up the ballroom and let me walk through everything with the lighting and the microphone and the staging. I walk on the stage to make sure I notice that little lip on the stage that last person tripped on during their message. True story. Right? I'm walking around. If I'm going to give a talk at a church function or in a classroom, I want to see and go to the classroom early and walk around and see, where do I see people? Where are their blind spots if I'm trying to look at the audience? Okay. Another way to think about rehearsing is your Zoom set up? And I'll go a little Zoom now. Is your Zoom set up so that when you hit screen, watch. So if I'm stopping right now, and let's say I'm not prepared, and all of a sudden I hit the wrong button and I don't know, right? Like I'm just all over the place. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Okay, you've seen people. Oh, my bad. Oh, okay. Right. It's not even linked to the right screen. So rehearsal and knowing your stage is synonymous with knowing your screen. So I would write that down. Know your stage is the same as knowing your screen. You know, every time you do a conference, I was giving Marley and the Naples team a hard time because they were coming in early. We do a pre-conference meeting. It's not just because we want to mess around. It's because I want to make sure our microphones sound good and the videos look good. You guys see that? So again, preparing your message. Take a quick moment, jot down some light bulbs on preparing your message. What stands out? And feel free to chat some light bulbs on your group chat as well. Okay. Let's talk about structure. This is one of my favorites because I remember seeing one of the Vector greats who you will probably never meet. His name is Richard Plaskin, and he is now no longer division manager. He works for corporate, and he's in charge of a really unique part and program in our company. But I remember going to my first conference and watching him give this public speaking message, and I just remember being blown away. And the thing that stood out was structure. Okay. Does anyone raise your hand if you've seen the movie Ford versus Ferrari? You see that movie Ford versus Ferrari? Okay, so Lee Iacocca is one of the founding, maybe not CEOs, but founding forefathers of the success and rise of Ford Motors, and then took Chrysler after that, which was going to go into the tank as a major car company in the US, and took them into a major recovery. That's fancy term for a really, really well-known successful businessman. And Lee Iacocca used to say, whenever you're speaking to people, you tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and you tell them what you just told them. And let me say that again. When you're speaking to people, public, one-on-one, you tell people what you're going to tell them. Okay? You tell them, and you tell them what you just told them. Another fancy word, prelude, content, summary. Okay? So in theory, ready? Hey, Mrs. Jones, I'm here. I'm excited to talk to you about Cutco today. I can't wait to share my goals. I'm going to show you why everyone has been investing in a set of Cutco and why everyone's been recommending me to their friends. Then I'm excited at the end for you to experience the same thing. You do your presentation at the end. So Mrs. Jones, in summary, you'll never have to worry about knives again. That investment in that signature set's going to last you forever. You'll use it every day. And those recommendations you just gave me are going to help me continue my business towards my goals. So thank you so much. Right? I told them what I'm going to tell them. I told them, and then I told them at the end what I just told them. And I could take any random topic, right? So can I unmute here? Yeah, we go. Allow people to unmute. Okay, Ray Gomez. I'm going to highlight you because you're one of my favorite public speakers. Can you see me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So have we prepped? Did you know I was going to call on you just now?
Nope.
No. Okay, good. I want you to give me any random topic, Any random topic, and make it appropriate, please. Any random topic. What comes to mind in 3, 2, 1? Give me a topic.
Closing.
Non-Cutco. 3, 2, 1, go.
It's a tough one.
Okay, a tough one. I got it. Okay, we're going to talk about closing and a tough one. Here we go. So, ready? You tell them what you're going to tell them. You tell them what you just told them. Let's do closing, easy one. Hey guys, the objective of my message today is to talk to you about closing. I want to give you some general tips on closing. I want to do my closing for you. And at the end, I'll take some questions and answers. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the generals of closing. Go through the points. Let me show you what my closing looks like. You go through the points. And here are a couple of miscellaneous tips. And at the end of your 15, 20, 30-minute workshop, so in closing, everyone, make sure you're talking to the customers, make sure you're building rapport, and make sure you're following the outline. That's closing. Right? I could take another, Ray, what did you say? Oh, that's tough. Okay. Hey guys, the objective of my message today, or I'm here to talk to you about things that are tough. I want to talk to you when you stutter on a Zoom in front of everyone in the whole state of Florida. I want to talk to you about when your mind goes blank and you can't think of the answer. And I want to talk to you about how to recover. Okay? So there are times where maybe you get called on by the division manager and you just don't know what to say. And the only thing that comes out is, oh, that's tough. You know what? That's okay. And you know what? One thing I can tell you that will help you recover is slow down, be quiet, and think of a great response. So in closing, yeah, it's tough. In closing, yeah, sometimes we stutter, but take your time, stay silent, and think of a great response. So go get them because life is tough. See you guys. Thank you. Right? So I'm just ad-libbing that one. Is that a little light bulb there? Okay. Give me let me see here. Eddie Dos Cuevas. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
Can you give me a random object, topic, movie? I mean, something. I don't know.
Let's talk about dogs.
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 Come on now. Patricia, were you about to say dogs? Okay. Hey guys, I'm so excited to share with you my thoughts on dogs. I want to talk to you about why everyone should have a dog. I want to talk about my dog, and I want to talk about how you yourself can get these wonderful canine friends. First of all, dogs are literally a man or a woman's best friend. They're always happy when you come home, every time. They're never mad at you, and then they forget they were mad at you if they ever were, and they're just so adorable. You know, my dog's name is Luna, and, you know, Luna has brought joy to our household. She has brought love to my wife, Heidi, and I, and she is by far the cutest thing ever, not to mention when our single friends come hang out with us, it is very helpful. You know what I'm saying. And finally, if you want to go ahead and get a dog, I highly encourage you to go adopt a dog. Go find a dog at your local shelter. Here's a number I just put in the link, and really help out an animal in need. So in summary, dogs are our man's best friend. I love Luna, and you should get yourself a dog. Guys, have a good one. Take care. All right, is that cool? You guys see that? And we're making this fun and kind of on the spot, which you'll never really have to do. But I just want you to make the point. I wanted to make the point that you tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and you wrap up. Okay? Snaps on that? You guys get that? Okay. That was fun. Good one, Eddie. So structure, okay? Anytime you create a message, a public speaking message, you want to start off planning with how are you going to start? What are your points? And of course, the close. So let's go into that. Let's go into the intro, the body, and the close. So intro. And ready? There are actually more than 4 ways to start a message, but what I found is the most basic start line for people in their first, I guess, delving, if you will, into the world of public speaking are stories, jokes, facts, and questions. Right? Stories, jokes, facts, and questions. So whether you're getting a great formal introduction of someone that builds you up to create confidence like Andrew did with me, or your teacher says, all right, young lady, you're up. As lame of an intro as that might be, which you may get, by the way. Stories, jokes, facts, and questions. So I think this goes back to the research too. If you know you're going to have a very dry group, make sure I'd stay away from a joke unless you know your joke's going to connect. Okay. If you're with a real factual, scientific doctor community, I would start with a fact or a question. I'll give you examples in a second. If I'm with a playful, fun team or I'm trying to win the crowd, I might start with a joke or story. Again, meet them where they're at. So let me give you an example of each one. Story. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeff Gamboa. You know, there was this famous town where the very, very wealthy businessman of the town, who practically ran the town, called everyone's attention to the most dangerous river in town. And on the other side, he was with his megaphone and next to his helicopter. And he said, I really want to reward the bravest man in this town. So everyone kind of went to the edge of the river, and he said, the first person to jump across this river and battle through the slippery rocks and the sharp edges and the unbelievably poisonous snakes will, and before he could finish, someone dove in. And everyone ran to the edge of the lake, and and he was swimming for his life, dodging poisonous snakes, right? Jumping over jagged rocks that would cut his leg wide open, and he made it to the other side, and the crowd erupted. So people jumped around the bridge, got to the other side with the wealthy businessman, the heroic warrior, and the helicopter. And the young man was bent over, huffing and puffing, nearly took his life. And the businessman said, son, I'll grant you whatever you want. What would you like? No words. You want to be a business partner. You want money? I got you. I'll give you money. You're a smart man. He goes, no, I don't want that. You're smart. Young man, you want in my business. You want to be in my business with me, a partner, so you'll make more money later. Yes, I can make you a business partner. No, I don't even want that. Son, you are so smart. You want my daughter's hand in marriage to be forever in this family. Gosh, I really appreciate that. I don't want that. Well, son, you don't want money. You don't want to be part of my booming business, and you don't want to be in the family legacy. What do you want? He said, I want to know the son of a bitch who pushed me in. Sometimes in life, we just need a push. The objective of my message today is getting ready to get pushed and seeking your potential. Okay, you see that story? Is that a light bulb? Okay, it was a fun, kind of keep you on the edge story. And what was the objective? The objective was, hey, sometimes we all need a push. Joke. Now, ready? Be careful with jokes. You got to do a lot of research. And ready, number 2, you got to make sure you're funny. Okay, so do research and make sure you're funny. So I actually urge against jokes to start most of the time. Okay. Number 3, fact. This is one of my favorites for a drier, more scientific, or really just a more level-headed crowd, right? Fact. There will be less job opportunities for college graduates in 2020 in the next 10 years than ever in American history. Fact. Most students don't have the skills or knowledge to equip them to succeed in this environment. Fact. Young people make up one of the largest percentages of the future of our economy. I'm here to talk to you about Leadership Academy, how we can navigate through these times, and how you can get a spot here into our coveted team. You see that? A light bulb for that? Fact. Giving facts. And make sure your facts are actually facts. That's another side note. Okay. And then question. This is, I would say, the staple number 1. I'm brand new at Cutco way to start a message. Ready? Watch. Guys, raise your hand. Who's excited for Summer Conference 2? Huh? I'm here, and my objective is to talk to you about Summer Conference 2, why it's awesome, why you should go. You go into your message. Okay? Question. Hey, who really struggles with recommendations right now? Great. Well, you know, what I want to talk to you about this workshop is not recommendations, but the mentality recommendations. How you can get better, and most importantly, how you get at least 10 to 20 in every appointment. Okay? So stories, jokes, and facts. Take a few short moments, write a few light bulbs from how you intro a message. What stands out? Let's dive into the body. This one's pretty straightforward, but I think having no more than 3 to 5 points. 3 to 5 points. I think when you start to go into more points, ready? The objective of my message is to talk to you about recommendations. I have 72 points today. Wait, what? You already lost me. Versus I'm here to talk to you about getting lots of recommendations. And I have 2 or 3 tips that I think will really help you here. Or I want to talk about 2 or 3 things that can really help you. I can keep people's attention. So I find that number is, that sweet spot's 3 to 5. Number 2, teaching versus reading. And I just, and this is not in the keynote, but I want to share this with you. Okay. Whenever you give a message at a meeting, whenever you're presenting, especially in Cutco, you are not giving a speech. Okay. I am not giving a speech to you. This is a message, right? This is a message or a presentation, if you will. But we're not giving a speech. A speech is something that is word for word written out and memorized or teleprompted. That's a speech. You know, government officials, leaders of teams, like things that are written. A cousin of mine, her husband is a professional speechwriter for the president of Johns Hopkins University. That's his job. And he gets paid $100,000 to make sure that 4 times a year, it's a badass speech, right? And they take 3 months to work on one speech, and every quarter, that president of Johns Hopkins will give that message that he's worked on for 3 months. We are giving a message. And so when you're giving a message, here's what's really important. It's important to know that we're not reading to people, okay? It's about bullets. And it's easier to work using bullets than it is to write it word for word. So, and you'll learn this as we go into Leadership Academy for some of you. People are wired differently. Some people need it word for word because of the attention to detail in them needs that. Some people can get a point and they can talk forever. Right. And I'll take that in even some of our management team. I think of different pilot sales managers, different district managers that are just operate completely different. But if you just have bullets, it makes it a lot easier. So as you're crafting your body, you know, the old saying, just make sure you start with an outline. Yeah. An outline has nothing to do with writing the words. And I think a lot of people get writer's block, if you will, because they want to start thinking of words instead of what are the bullets I want to get done first. You know, for me personally, if I'm giving a message, all I need are these keynotes. I don't have notes for any of these. All these slides are showing that I'm not reading off of any notes because watch, I think it's really important that you also want to keep engagement. So especially on Zoom, watch me. Let's say I have my notes off to the side, watch. So really it's important, watch my eyes. Guys, I'm really excited to connect and be engaged with you today. What? I'm not even looking at you. Versus I know that, hey, thanks for joining me today. And I'm so excited to join you on the Zoom podcast or the Zoom teleconference. And here's a little secret tip. I'll put this at the end. It's on my Zoom. Put your notes underneath the camera. So when you are reading your notes, you're still looking at the camera. You guys see that? Is that a light bulb for some of you? Or how about when you set your Zoom up, hit gallery view, not speaker view, or don't hit gallery view where it goes like this. Close the window up so the person, your customer, is on top of you. Okay. So that, and then line it up so it's right under the camera. So when you look right at the customer at their screen like normal, our cameras are so sophisticated that they pick it up like they're looking at the customer. So like right now, I'm looking at the Zoom. Does it look like I'm looking at your eyes right now? Am I looking at you? Yeah, I'm not looking at the camera directly. I'm looking just south of the camera. Okay. Right, a few light bulbs there for body. Okay. A couple of tips on closing. Guys, make sure you have a definitive end. And I think that's sometimes, that can be a trap sometimes where we're speaking and people don't know it's over, right? So yeah, and then recommendations, make sure you thank the customer at the end and they just keep rambling and rambling and rambling. So a great way to have a definitive ending, and ready? 2 words, in closing, all right? So in closing, right? Or ready? So to wrap up my message, or so I end with one final thought, right? Another way to avoid multiple endings is come back to the beginning. Ready? So let's say I'm wrapping up. So fact, this is going to be the worst job economy for 2020 and beyond for the next 10 years for young people. In fact, indeed, they have less options, students do, to really navigate through this. But also a fact that Leadership Academy can give you those skills so that you can be one of the minority individuals who conquer and get past this issue and really make a successful life for yourself. Thanks for your time today. Right? So you come back, whatever facts you gave at the beginning, come back at the end. Maybe you have a joke. If you want to be really advanced, and this is probably level 4.0, Mike actually did this and didn't show, you guys didn't realize this. You tell a story in the beginning to get their attention, and you don't tell the whole story. You wait till the end, show the picture of you and your dad with that video. That story started with, hey, I'll tell you about that later. And it ended with, let me tell you what happened. You guys just realized, did I just mind blow you? Mike did. He started the story, got you captivated. It's distance, branches, and districts. Raise your hand, right? You guys know the Dr. Gamboa blood pressure story, right? With Billy? Yeah. That's one of my favorite stories to tell, all the way up until the point where my brother-in-law at the time, soon-to-be brother-in-law, my dad, for the first time meeting him, just gives him a hard time. And I stop the story and I say, I'll tell you a little bit about that later. And everyone's always on the edge of their seats. And at the end, I come full circle and there's a lesson with the story. Okay. So always have a definitive ending in closing. So to wrap up. Oh, and another thing, when you say you're closing, ... make sure you close. Because I see some people say my final thought or in closing, and then they'll give a couple more points. And then in closing again, and they'll give a couple more points. Okay. So definitive endings, use in closing or to wrap up. And sometimes you can come back full circle. Write down a few bullets there from closing. What are some light bulbs from that? Delivery. You may know these numbers, and depending on what research you've done, the numbers change by 5%. But the three numbers you can write down are 55, 30, and 15. 55%, 30%, 15%. 15% of communication are the words that we use. Right? It's the grammar that we use, the syntax, the sentence structure. 15% are the words that we use. 30% is voice inflection. So as you might know, it's not what you say. What is it, everybody? It's thank you. It's how you say it. So if I'm really excited, you know I'm really excited because I say it like this. But if I'm really down, you know. Right? Case in point, actions speak louder than words. Hey, baby, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Oh, okay. Hey, dummy, something's wrong. Right? My mom, growing up, we used to have an aunt who lived in Virginia, and we hated that road trip. And she would say, guys, you excited? We're going to go to Virginia. Great. Can't wait. The voice inflection is different. Take that to your presentations. If you're talking about something exciting, inflection goes up and pace goes up. If it's a serious point, you may want to stop to let people think about that point. Right? See how silence can help with voice inflection. And then 55% of communication is body language. So motion creates emotion, right? Using your hands, not as a distractor, by the way. I think it's really important. Okay? So where is your voice inflection? If this is a great deal, Mrs. Jones, then I would increase my voice inflection. If you're talking about something exciting, go faster. Serious, slow down. Or you want it to hit heavy, stop for a second. Okay. So what's really important right now in this digital world? The body language, we really can't see as much, but you kind of can, right? Like chest up, chest up. So I think the importance of body language as you're speaking is important. So write a few bullets there. Okay. What are some light bulbs? Let me wrap up with some do nots, and then I want to wrap up after that, finally, in closing, right, with some Zoom etiquette tips. Do nots, okay, ready? Do not use filler words. Like, basically, for my South Florida, literally, okay, for my Puerto Ricans, basically, or este, or como que, right? And you guys are laughing, but it makes us sound less educated or mature than we are. And when you're trying to connect, if you want to meet someone where they're at, especially a Mac customer, we've got to speak to their language, not like or totally or like or basically. And sometimes we don't realize it, but what filler words do is they fill in when we're not confident or when we're not educated. So think about think about the language that we're using. So watch out for filler words. Number two, make sure you don't have tics. Okay, some people it's this. Right? They don't realize they're swaying, okay? Or maybe their tick as they look over the crowd. I know my brother, when he was in TLA, would do this. When he would run an interview, he would look not at the people's eyes. He would look over their heads, like to the back of the room. And it was just the weirdest looking thing. I said, hey, what are you looking at? I don't know. Right? So watch out. Don't chew gum. I know it sounds weird, but don't chew gum while you're speaking in public or while you're on a presentation. Don't address the crowd in the middle of your message. Okay? Unless it's expertisely and with advanced knowledge, you're pulling people out of the crowd for a reaction or you're connecting. Let me explain it better. Don't have inside jokes, right? So for example, I'm talking, hey, you guys got to get to the conference because it's just so much fun. I can't really tell. Ray, you know, remember like with the toothpaste and the feathers? Yeah. What the hell did he just say? The toothpaste and the feathers? What? But sometimes we're so comfortable, we like to give inside jokes. It's not appropriate. Stay on task, stay on message. Okay? That a light bulb for some people? A couple of don'ts you want to stay away from? Okay. Don't address the timekeeper. A lot of times when you're in a physical audience, you'll have someone in the back giving times. So don't address them. So let's say Rob Rodriguez from Palmetto Bay is giving me times in the back, and I'm speaking to the audience, and he holds up 10 minutes, right? Hey guys, in 10 minutes? Okay, thanks. Like don't stop to address the timekeeper. You just and ready, guess who everyone's paying attention to now? The timekeeper. You guys see that? Okay. Beautiful. Take a few moments, write a few light bulbs there. I want to get to some Zoom etiquette to make sure we stay on time here. And we'll go to our last break, or we might even just transition. Take a few moments. Before we go to Zoom, go through your best light bulbs. Okay. So now, hashtag 2020, hashtag don't waste a crisis and make it big time for your life. Hashtag vector people just look through challenges as an opportunity to get better. Let's talk about some Zoom enhancements to public speaking, okay? So a couple of things. Number one, know the environment. Well, what does that mean? I think a couple of things. Number one, prepping the household. Like prepping the household. If you want to give a professional presentation, you know, mom Zoom bombing in the back cannot possibly come across as professional. Your little brother screaming and walking shirtless behind you cannot possibly be, I'm just listing things I've seen, cannot possibly be professional, okay? The background in your bed, you're sitting up on your headboard and behind you is a poster of your favorite band. As a Mac bomb, how can I take you seriously when I see Spice Girls behind you on the poster? I know you're talking, I know you like Spice Girls. How can you possibly take them seriously when there's a distraction and when there's verbal, like audio distraction or physical distraction, okay? So I think it's really important to prep the environment, know who's around you, know the timing. In fact, you know, in this day and age, districts will appreciate this. We don't do any grocery shopping. We do delivery, Instacart. We live in a condo, so there's always deliveries coming up. I time the deliveries around trainings and meetings to know that I don't want any interruptions and I don't want people knocking on my door, right? So through 6 months of quarantine, districts and branches, one of you said, how many times, probably in one hand, have I said, oh, shoot, someone's at the door, 1 second. Why? Because I try to time it. So know the environment. Is it a light bulb for some of you? Just prepping the team already, even using this term. Hey, everyone, I'm on a professional blank Zoom meeting conference for my work. Not, hey, I'm on Zoom, mom, be quiet. Like letting people know what's happening. Okay. I think this is a big one. Eye line and camera. Okay. Some of you don't know this, but this is really where your eyes should be. Okay. This is really where your eyes should be. And I see so many things, right? Number one, if you're a gamer, I respect the game, but most gamers have their camera off to the side, looking like this. That's a very gamer type setup. Okay. But if we are presenting, we want to engage the customer. We want to have that good eye contact when we put the Zoom up and then put it down and say, thank you, Mrs. Jones. I just want to start by saying thank you. Like you don't want it to be like this, right? I just want to start by saying thank you. Look how awkward that looks. I just want to start by saying thank you out of the side of my eye, looking like a stalker, you know? It doesn't look good versus straight on and having eye level. So ready? There are expensive ways to do this, like those really cool Veridesks. There's also really, really cheap ways and free ways to do this. It's called a box. It's called a cardboard box. It's called those new J's you just bought with that big paycheck. Get 2 of those. Those are Michael Jordan Air shoes, Nike, by the way. Right? You just put 2 boxes up and the camera of your computer should be eye line. Okay? Otherwise, you get a view of my nose. Not my nose, but up my nose. Okay? And ladies, those of you that are IG famous or want to be or just look fantastic in your IGs, ready? You would never take a photo like this, angle up. Right? Or as they say, hashtag it's all about the angles, right? I've heard that before. I don't even want to know. Okay? So eyeline camera. And not down. Hey, you want to buy some knives? Hey, right? Ready? So straight on. And so you can purchase, I mean, the one that I got here, and I can send all the links out again later. I think I got mine for $50, and that's on the expensive side. You can get a cheaper one, or you can go free, okay? So whether it's a laptop stand, whether it's a box, okay? Is that a light bulb for some people? Yes, light bulb, good? Okay. Let's talk about background. Pretty straightforward. I just have 3 quick things. Number 1, okay? I think we have to do with what we have. It's not a perfect world, and you're not expected to have a professional studio in your house. I do know that. But what I would say is less is more, less busy. I'm not a fan of the picture backgrounds when I'm presenting professionally or doing a presentation, okay? But sometimes that's better than maybe what the mess might be behind you or your headboard. You guys see that? So I think I'd rather have that than something distracting. I'm even saying, and Mike, this is to you, or one of our vet districts, this is to Andrew. I even think it's time to upgrade and have the curtain drop background so that we can have a good back screen in the background so that there's just not a lot going on. I would even venture to say my background is a little bit too busy for being the ultimate professional. It's comfortable, right? You can clearly tell I like Cutco, I like the ribbons, I like books. Great. But that can be distracting depending on the audience, okay? Depending on the audience. So make sure you have your background set up. Lighting, okay? This is one of the #1 keys to creating engagement, but the easiest to fix. Because you can't fix your house. Sometimes you can't remodel your house for some of you. Maybe you don't have a proper background, okay? You can fix a box up on your computer and you can get proper light. Now, if you want to be just killing it, you get a setup like this and all of the gamers are going, got that. Yeah, I know, right? This is advanced, dual screen, enhanced camera, clamps, double fluorescent lighting, or you just go to Amazon and get a $40 one. It's the same thing, okay? Yeah, but I don't want to spend money. Is $40 worth the investment to make you that much more professional, and will you have a better representation? Okay, watch me. No light. Weird. I feel weird. Awkward. My right side is shiny. My left is dark. Okay? And that can be distracting. Versus my little Instagram influencer. Hi, guys. Right? That's what all the influencers. Hi, guys. I'm here talking about my fitness journey. Okay. Okay. Ready? So get a light. And ready? I would say what I'm going to show you, the overall package, is $250 or less, maybe like $150 worth it for you to get yourself updated. So when you're with a customer, it's professional, it's lighted, and they're engaging. Because some of you already have already lost sales because the first 30 seconds, your setup, your light, your microphone, your audio is already distracting. You've already lost the sale or the bigger sale from the start. How's that for a light bulb? Okay. So set up some type of light. I recommend $40 to $70 there. And then microphone. You can go to Amazon and get a 30, but I want the fancy one. You don't need a fancy one. 30 to 50 bucks. Gosh, some of you guys will spend that on going out for the weekend. Invest $30 to $50 on a nice mic. Do some research. You can get, Mike has a brand new microphone. It sounds awesome. I have something called Yeti mic. This is much better quality. Okay. I want you to hear the difference here. Watch. So this is my quality mic. This is my quality mic. This is my quality mic. This is my quality mic.
Okay. This is my headphone mic. This is my headphone mic. This is my headphone mic. This is my headphone mic.
This is my laptop mic. This is my laptop mic. This is my laptop mic. Give me a thumbs up if you hear the difference.
Yeah, if your laptop might be better than your regular mic.
Yeah, it depends on the reverb. Yeah. So you have to test around. Okay. So, it sounds checks anyway. Okay. So write down some light bulbs. In closing, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But I am closing. Guys, public speaking is really not an art, but it's a science. It's a science in the sense that you can really set yourself up for success. It's an art, it's a science in the sense that as a professional, we want to present the best version of ourselves. And I think from a professional selling standpoint, that's applicable in the appointment. From a presentation standpoint, it's applicable. And one day when many of you are assistants and branch and district managers, it's certainly going to be applicable. Cool. Okay, take 30 seconds, a couple more light bulbs. And then I will turn things over to Mr. Evans to introduce our next speaker. All right, Andrew.
10 seconds.
I'll hand it over to you.
Light bulbs. Get them down. Hope you guys got some goods from that message for both Zoom and in general. I'm excited for the first event that we'll be able to have that will require people to speak publicly, physically in front of people. And I don't know when that will be. Could be next month, could be next year. We'll see. But you'll be able to revisit your notes. I'm going to go ahead and introduce you guys to the Kingpin, Luke Baseco. Luke, I got a special place in my heart for this guy. Luke actually, we really funny story in the business. Luke started off back in the Fort Lauderdale office. So his first summer, I was actually his assistant manager at the time. I was being an assistant manager in Jeff's office. We both kind of got a role at Jeff's office, and I was assistant manager there. And Luke was his first summer as a sales rep. We didn't even talk that much that first summer. We got a little bit closer as the summer continued and finished off. Next summer, I was a branch manager in Boca Raton, and Luke was the head assistant manager in Fort Lauderdale. The following summer, Luke became the the branch manager for Boca Raton. And I went on to run a branch office in Miami. And then he went on to become a pilot sales manager for Jeff the next year too. So we followed a similar track and trajectory. And Luke is someone that I can have a high amount of respect and regard for. He's someone that has had like just year in, when I think about just consistent and consistency and constant success in the business. I mean, he's had in every type of role he's done, from sales rep, assistant manager, branch, and now as a flourishing district manager. Luke has been a leader in those industries and in that area too. So I'm going to be excited to turn things over to him. He's going to give you guys some goods today before we kick off and announce our final, or we close with our finale of the event today, which will be our TLA acceptances here as